Hello, hello. My name is Gina Dallison, and this is episode 22 of Healing Vibrations. This is the podcast where we aim to shift the perspective of illness to see it as a gift. And today I'm very excited to be joined by Nermin Glibić,
Yeah.
who is a very interesting character. And after a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis and other things, has managing his condition in a very different way. And we've had some fantastic conversations, and I just wanted to bring him to the world really and share what's been going on with him and how maybe what he's been through can help other people. So thank you, Nermin, for joining us now. And yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit about where you've come from and what's your journey so far.
Oh, well, where do I even start? I was born here in Bosnia. It's a small country on the Balkans. I was born during a bad time. It was a war, and yeah. I got diagnosed with MS a couple of years back, about 8 years, I believe it is right now. Yeah, 7, maybe 8 years. And I've been dealing with it quite well, if I may say. That's why I joined Gina on this mission to tell the world that there are ways to deal with the disease and keep it kind of under control. Not entirely. I mean, you can never get 100% back on yourself, but you can manage it. So that's why I'm managing IMS on my own ways. Meditating, if I may put under quotes, watching, like supervising myself, every day something new happens, you watch it. So
what was your original sort of symptoms? When did you originally, what brought you to the diagnosis, if you like?
Well, it actually took a couple of years for me to get the diagnosis correctly. I had issues with one of my left hand thumb was kind of numb and it was twitching. That was one of the first symptoms. I had trouble pronouncing some words. I had slurred speech, and I was still in high school back then, and it really pulled up some issues of me with myself because I could not understand what was going on with me. I thought that professors would think that I'm making fun of them, not pronouncing words correctly and stuff like that. So through the years, I went to the doctors. I was asking, what could this be? Blah, blah, blah. They were testing my blood, everything else. They found a couple of things. I had an ulcer on my stomach. That's where we found out I had, that's where the pains from my stomach came from. So I was solving some issues on the way, but still not getting the full MS diagnosis. I had issues with one of my eyes. My right eye was, I had like a blind spot in it. So I could not see through the part of the eye.
Right.
And it was really weird. It was like someone was pulling a cover over my eye. So it was really hard to understand it. And I went to the eye doctors, of course. They did not find anything. They widened my retinas and checked inside, but there was nothing wrong. So the final thing that came up, I went to another doctor privately, and he took me in. I explained to him that I had these issues with talking. And by the time I got to him, that actually receded on its own. So I was like, I could talk like I am now. But he gave me something on a piece of paper and he told me to read that. I was like, okay, I know how to read, so let's do this. I grabbed that and I started to read, and basically I started crying because I could not read. Wow. So that made him realize something. He took me in for exam, did something with my legs, and he was like, you buddy need to go get an MRI. This looks like brain inflammation or something like that. And I was like, well, okay, cool. And a couple of months later, when I got to the MRI, they found those lesions in the brain. They put me to the hospital, did a lot of other things, and they figured out it was the MS. I argued with them. I did not believe that it was the MS. I did not think it was possible for me to have something like that, because I thought the MS was something that when a person has MS, he's basically in a wheelchair. That was my
That was your perception.
of the MS. I did not know what the MS was. So I argued with them, told them that I have brain inflammation, and it was kind of funny. So they did the spinal tap on me, and it confirmed with those bands they found inside.
Yeah, the lesions.
Yeah, and that's when I finally got the diagnosis. And from that point on, life has been really weird and different.
Okay.
It took me maybe about a year or two to figure out the I can't even put this into words. The freedom I actually got from finally getting the diagnosis. I know what's wrong with me now. I can pay attention to everything, and yeah, it's much easier now that I know that I have MS than it was before.
But I think certainly from before I got diagnosed, I was, and you know, something's wrong, don't you? You know, something's not as it should be, and my imagination took hold. So in my head, I'd got something that was yeah, very life limiting, and I was going to be dead in 6 months. That was my imagination taking over. So actually, MS seems a little bit gentler. Was that similar to you, or did you? What were your thoughts prior to the diagnosis?
These cognitive functions that MS messes up with. I thought I was getting dumber. I thought I was getting stupid. I did not understand what was going on with me. And that's where I'm thankful for finally getting the diagnosis of MS. Now I know what's wrong. And I have to mention something that actually happened yesterday. I went to a coffee like I do for my meditating session. And I also ordered a hamburger, which is like $4. And coffee is $1.50. And I have no idea how this happened, but in my mind, it ended up to be all in total as, what I need to pay, $7.50. Now, I have no idea how my brain got that to be like that. And that's really where I'm thankful that I know that I have MS, because after it happened, I could analyze what exactly happened. I knew the burger was like $4, coffee is $1.50. So I should need 5.50, but I rounded up the 5. It's like burger is 5 and I need additional 1.50. And I still don't get where another $1 came up. So it turned up to be 7.50. I don't understand it, but yeah, it's funny.
So that happens quite a lot, does it? Where your sort of brain sort of muddles things up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, I have no idea what's happening on inside.
So tell us, sort of move yourself forward to now. So other than the odd times where your brain gets a little bit muddled, what MS sort of symptoms do you experience currently then?
Right now, as MS symptoms, sometimes that tingling goes through my back, and that's about it. I've noticed that I'm limping on the right leg, and my hands are still a bit numb, but that's about it as far as the MS symptoms go. I've managed everything else, from the toilet issues to well, everything. I don't even know how many of them were there, but yeah, these are the last maybe 3 or 4 symptoms that I'm dealing with until something new comes up again.
So how do you deal with them? What's your process that you use then?
I'm trying to force myself, I'm limping on the leg, so I'll try to not limp as much. I avoid to use a cane. I've noticed if I use like umbrella when I'm walking, it's easier, but no, I'm trying to avoid that to push my body to get back to itself. I mean, that's like what I find the fight with MS is. We're fighting constantly, and sometimes I'm gonna prevail, sometimes it's gonna prevail, but I'm gonna get back up on my feet and I'm gonna throw a few punches out, and if it does something, it's cool. If it doesn't, well, I'm gonna rise up again in a couple of days.
So do you feel like it's a battle then?
Yeah, it is a battle.
Because I've been sort of playing with the idea that what if it didn't need to be a battle? What if we could make friends with the MS?
Oh yeah, you can, but on some days it's just a bit unfriendly. So you have to fight with it a bit. Yeah. But yeah, you can walk alongside it, you know.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
sort of, and it's understanding, isn't it? It's bringing that level of understanding of what it's bringing to us, to give us. So do you feel at all that it is a gift? Have you sort of unwrapped the gift of it, or do you still feel like it's very unwanted?
When we spoke last time, I find it to be a gift now that I know what it is. But until I knew what I had, it definitely was not a gift. I felt like I was losing myself. So then it was not a gift. But now that I know it's MS, and I know what to watch out for, what to follow, to put myself like beside myself. So I'm watching myself constantly. You got to do that so you can see the changes that come up. Yeah, it can be a friend. I
So
mean,
when you say, sorry.
once you realize what it limits, like uh, you prefer to stay outside for 12 hours and stuff like that, but now you noticed that because of MS, you got some limits. And once you move into those limits, it's gonna be cool. So, I can stay for like 3, 4 hours, then I need to go do some stuff and I can come back. Yeah, that works. But you need to really realize that that's how it is.
So if you were to say that it was a gift, what do you think the gift that it's given you then?
Freedom.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
That
free. I never was before.
so can you describe that? Because it sounds interesting how you would describe MS as freedom, whereas certainly the first thing that comes up to me is MS sort of almost stops you being free, and
Yeah,
that's
but
not your experience.
as I ever was. Um, how do I put that? Um, you really have to realize what works best for you as a person, and then move MS to basically coordinate it with those things. So I prefer to be around PCs, computer work and stuff like that. And this goes well with that. I mean, toilet is always kind of close because you're always close to a home, basically.
Mhm.
I lost my sentence somewhere. Um, hell, this hasn't happened in a long time.
So we were talking about the I've lost what word. Yeah, we were talking about the idea of freedom, and working with your MS to give you freedom, and how you can do that, how you can shift your perspective enough, I guess, to
Really hard.
recognize that it is giving you freedom.
Yeah, to put it into words, it's really hard. I mean, it helped me in that way. Maybe it would not work for everyone else as it did
Mm-hmm.
for me. I found out that it moved me, DMS moved me away from everything at first, because I basically locked myself down to the home to figure out what the hell is happening to me. How do I deal with this? What do I do? So I started going out on my own without friends, because I realized it doesn't work. I mean, I'm trying to explain to myself and to them what's happening to me, and it did not work. So let's go deal with myself first, then I'll deal with them. And that's where the freedom came from. I realized that other people and their opinions are not, uh, how do I say that? It's not
Helpful?
important, and they're not helpful. I mean, you can tell them it's like this, and they're gonna try to argue, no, it's not. Well, I know it is, so blame me. That's the freedom it gave me. You know, you're not gonna try to argue with someone to prove the point. You're just, no, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, so it just gives you the freedom to know that what you're doing is right for you,
Yeah,
and almost like, yeah, everybody else can do whatever's right for them, but it gives you that autonomy, and that independence, I guess, in a strange sort of way.
yeah. I
And
was struggling with that word. Yeah, independence.
yeah, and it sounds like what I'm hearing from you is you developed a sense of trust in yourself that actually you do know what's best for you.
Yeah. And MS helped me with that, because if I did not get the diagnosis and things just went as they did, I don't know where I would be today. But since it happened as it did, it's awesome. And the part where I said fight with MS, I did not mean like fight, you know. It's like there are some things that you could do before, and this disease kind of puts up a limit on it, and now you're struggling to do that. And all of the sudden, after much struggle, you actually managed to do the thing that you could not, and you did before. And that's a one fight for me. I mean, I managed to prevail the MS in that situation, and now I can do that again. And I had a couple of those.
So do you think that's the because I'm taking it you've been diagnosed with relapsing remitting, which sort of comes in waves, doesn't it? Comes in sort of flare-ups and episodes, and then can repair itself. So have you done anything? Are you following any practices or changing any of your habits or anything to assist in the repairing of yourself?
At first, I did exactly nothing. I was just watching myself, trying to be the best that I can. But after a couple of years have passed, and I was still under the MS, and new symptoms began to show up, like this hand numbness and leg numbness. That's when I started to research even more. I mean, I did research before, but it was not that much. Now I was researching, how do I fight this? What can I do to help myself? And I found the best diet cookbook to be the best for me, at least. And I also,
that's Matt Embry, isn't it?
Yeah, and his movie also made an impact. And I recommend to everyone that has someone who is diagnosed with MS, or they're diagnosed with MS themselves, to watch that movie, because it really shows a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And Matt Embry, if you haven't come across him before, he runs a non-for-profit organization called MS Hope. And he was diagnosed, I think, when he was 19, so he was young like you. And his dad was a researcher, wasn't he? And did a load of research and discovered that actually, or came up with the theory that actually diet could really be significant in helping the symptoms and helping the progression of the disease, and has come up with this. And I have got a copy of the book, and I have done a load of diet stuff, but I've sort of come out the other side of the diet thing a little bit. I am pretty good. So what's your diet look like these days then?
Well, I'm not following the diet cookbook entirely, but I did implement some stuff of it. Like I excluded dairy products entirely. I eat more seeds, vegetables, fruits, love those stuff. I'm still drinking coffee, and I'm still smoking, so those things do not seem to be that much relevant to this. And as far as the symptom goes, I managed everything thanks to this diet except the numbness. And for that, I can recommend the lion's mane mushroom. It does help, and vitamin B as well.
Yeah, so lion's mane mushrooms are meant to help with the repair of the myelin, aren't they?
Yeah.
there's some evidence to suggest that actually that I've never tried them personally, but you've been using them, have you?
Yeah, give me just a second. Here they are. I don't
Okay,
know.
so yeah, I've got them in little capsules. Yes.
Yeah, it comes as this, and there's about 120 of them. You drink 2 of them a day, but I'm actually not using them as much as I did. I'm kind of keeping them for emergency cases.
So do you notice a difference when you take them or when you don't take them?
If you take them like a couple of days in a row, yeah, there is a small difference. Not as huge as I expected it to be, but yeah, there is difference.
Yeah.
And they also do something with the bowel movement tracts and everything else. So yeah, they're good.
They're good. It's a good thing to have. So Villa lion's mane. And what was the other thing that you said you took?
Sorry, lion's mane and vitamin B.
Oh, vitamin D.
D and B.
D and B, yeah. Okay, cool. And you mentioned as well that you were meditating. So what does that describe your meditation practice?
Well, it's not meditating as Buddhists do, you know, like I'm sitting this way, breathing deeply. No, it's not like that. It's just I'll call it me time. It's the time when I'm all on my own. I'll leave the home, walk through the town or close to a river, you know, just leave my thoughts be with themselves, you know, analyze the situations from the day, check up on myself, or if I did something unusual or something like that, you know, just you got to use that time to uh, get out of yourself and watch what you did throughout the day. That's what I do.
So do you
And
think you become like an observer of yourself?
sorry.
Do you think you become like an observer of yourself, where you can observe your thoughts and your actions? And
Yeah, that's basically what I try to do when meditating under quotes.
right, okay, so that's like is that a daily practice for you?
Basically, yes. Every day, about 2 hours, I'm gonna be on my own. I have to.
Wow.
If I don't do that, it's something's not good. I'm gonna be nervous. So
And that's I think some people, and I know from my own aspect as well, who's very much a people person, I get energized by being around people, to take time and to reflect on what you're thinking and what you're feeling and where those feelings are coming from as well. Because I don't know about you, but I've been doing quite a lot of work on emotions, and sometimes it's really difficult to even articulate what the emotion is. You might just be feeling something that's not quite right, and you know, to actually put your finger on it, what is it that I'm feeling? Why is it I'm feeling bleh? Why do I, you know, want to cry, or why do I want to be grumpy? What is it that's coming through? And that does take practice, doesn't it?
yeah, that's exactly why I do take these 2 hours, trying to analyze what am I feeling, what is this sensation I have, and stuff like that. Interpreting myself basically. So yeah, and when I don't do that, I really feel awkward. It's like I'm missing a part of the day that I need to do. So I kind of got used to that I take some time off for myself about myself. I know it sounds weird, but it helps.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound weird at all. And I think, you know, from the conversations that I have with people, particularly who've got MS and other autoimmune diseases, it's taking time for self is probably something that, you know, a lot of people don't do. I talk quite a lot about where are you in your priority list, you know, with
Yeah,
regard to everything that's going on in your life.
yeah, well, that's where MS came in as well again, because MS put me to prioritize myself as number one. Before it was everything else was a priority except me. I'm unimportant because I'm myself. So it was weird, and it's even weirder now because I'm mostly oriented to myself.
Wow.
So yeah, it's weird.
So when you've been having that self-time and that self-reflective time, is there anything that sort of shifted in your world, anything that you've changed, any realizations that you've had, that type of thing?
Well, there's been a lot of those. I mean, basically almost every time I go out on my own, I realize something that I did not before.
Wow.
I don't even know where to start on that. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I can say, when I first started practicing this me time, I figured out I was demolishing my friends with my symptoms, with my disease and everything else. I was literally bombarding them with information about DMS. And I figured out they don't have it. They do not care as much. Even if they do, they cannot understand it. No way. So I use the me time to evaluate those things on my own. So when I'm with friends, I'll try not to mention DMS. If it does come up as a subject, I'm going to try to move away from it as soon as possible. But it does come up as a subject. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're young, haven't you? So actually, this has come across you when you're young. For me, I was a bit older. I was in my early 30s when I got diagnosed, and it tends to be an older person's thing, but not always. Definitely not always.
21st birthday.
21st. Oh, that was a nice birthday present. So it really was a gift then.
Really nice birthday present, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, MS. How kind. How kind.
But it was a present though, because I was dealing, like I said, I was still in high school when I had the first symptoms come up, and they did not last long, but they were, as I said, they were, damn, I can't even say what they were. They made issues for me in high school. So
yeah.
by the time I got the diagnosis, it really was a present.
Yeah, so the actual diagnosis was because actually knowing what you're dealing with, that's the gift, isn't it? So then it's like, okay, I'm not just going mad, I'm not going crazy, I'm not just, my mind's going.
The way the disease progresses on its own, it's like there's a part of you that's going back to the childhood. It's forgetting things, it's regular things, like the body just forgets how to, I don't know how to well, I don't know how freely can I use the language here, but the body forgets how to eat. I mean, that's ridiculous.
How to pee.
Yeah. That's what I felt it was before I got diagnosis. I'm forgetting how to do basic things.
Right. So when you say forgetting how to, would unable to hold it, is that what you mean? Or
it was unable to begin. It's like to the toilet, you have the urge and everything, and you're there and nothing is happening. So am I dumb or what? And a couple of times it happened to me that when I went out with my friends before I started me time and processing everything else, we were out drinking and drinking beer and stuff like that. So I would go up to the toilet, and by the time I come back, they're like, man, what were you doing in there? Are you feeling okay? What's wrong? And I was like, man, I just went to pee. Damn, bro, you were there for an hour. And I was like, what? I was struggling for an hour just to pee. So yeah, that really.
but now you think, now you sort of incorporate me time into your life, then that's those type of things have sort of resolved themselves, have they?
Yeah, they have, because I did not have that particular issue in about 2 or 3 years.
Wow. So are you on any medication at all for your MS?
Medication for MS, precisely like for MS, no. The only thing that I'm drinking is my emotions are messed up, like for real. I've got a lesion in that part of the brain which is responsible for the emotions. And if I don't drink this one pill, those emotions are all over the place. And this is the thing I'm drinking.
Diprisan.
Yeah, it's something they call it a pill for depression. Even though I'm not depressed. I actually feel better when I'm not drinking. But the issue is I cannot control my emotions as I could before. And I would begin to cry for, well, something that no person would cry for, and I would just start crying. No really good reason, but I would cry and get mad and laugh without control. So that's why I'm drinking these. And other than that,
and does it help with that then? Does it help sort of stabilize your emotions?
yeah, it does. I mean, it really does. If I don't drink it for a couple of days, I'm gonna be a mess. So I am gonna feel better not drinking them. I'm gonna feel like more of myself, but the emotions are not good. I mean, I can't control them. If I see a cat dying, I'm gonna cry, and I don't want that. Last night I had a couple of hedgehogs, which I have seen for a couple of days, and one of them got hit by a car, and the other one was beside his partner, and it really got that emotional impact on me, but I did not cry. And I know for sure that if I did not drink that pill, I would have cried last night for that hedgehog. So yeah, it does help on that.
But then I don't know, maybe you need to cry, because the way I'm understanding about emotions are like energy and motion. So if we don't let them flow, if we don't get them out of our bodies, then they get stuck somehow.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple of videos that I'm gonna turn on for myself when I want to cry, and I'm gonna avoid drink pills. So yeah, I can deal with that too,
Yeah.
because I understand it now, and I can, because I took enough time to watch myself and figure it out. Otherwise, I would still be same as when I got diagnosed. So
Yeah.
I did really move forward with the disease, not fought against it, fought with it.
Yeah, played with it maybe.
Yeah.
I talk about the MS, or a chronic illness sort of comes creeping in a bit like an elephant comes creeping into your room, and slowly it takes up space, and you try and ignore it because you just want to get on with your life and do whatever you want to do, and then eventually it comes to a point where it's like the elephant's almost sitting on you, so there's no way you can ignore it anymore. You've got to, and it feels like you get angry at it, because let's face it, nobody wants this thing, and you battle it, but we can't really battle an elephant because it's big and it's heavy and it's sitting on us. So if we could play with the idea of like, well, what happens if we could really get to know the elephant, and we could, I don't want to say train, but that means control. So I don't really want to control, but we just want to work in partnership with the elephant. So maybe it could come to a time where we could actually ride the elephant instead of it sitting on us.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of feel like I'm maybe not riding the elephant, but at least we're walking together right next.
Yeah.
I'm holding him like a horse.
Yeah.
Or we're kind of together, not battling.
Yes, that would be quite a nice way. And I think what you're doing with the me time. Oh, echoing. Let's see if I can do. What you've learned to do, I guess, with the me time is to give yourself that space to find out more about what this elephant is all about and what it's trying to show you. And like you said, it's changed the path of your journey, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it changed my orientation. I mean, I was oriented outwards, and now I'm oriented inwards to myself, because I'm number one priority. I want to feel good. So it did change me.
So have you got any, other than your sort of me time practice, is there anything else that you've learned about yourself, or you practice to help make you feel good and keep that, keep you in a nice frame of mind?
Truthfully, I can say avoid the things that go on your nerves. That's one thing I've learned. And other than that, not much. At least not on the top of my head. Maybe there are things, but no, nothing I can remember right now.
Cool. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing your, your story. Is there anything else that you would want to share with, maybe if somebody has just been diagnosed with MS, or even pre-diagnosis, where you've got these symptoms that you don't understand? And I mean, you felt having the MS diagnosis was a gift, but I know that that's not, again, it depends very much where you are on your journey and how you feel, because it can be very frightening. What would you say?
You need to put it to be a gift. I mean, I can also say, damn, I hate this disease. It put me in my place. It destroyed me and everything else. It really did at first. But once I began to realize what it actually is, how to deal with it, I brought the hope back upon myself. I realized that you can't be 100% yourself again, but you can manage it with the diets, with just you got to watch for it. You need to see what the MS does to you. You need to understand it, and then you can make friends with it. Until you do that, you can't. It's just gonna be, I want to do this, but I can't. No, why can't I do this, and stuff like that. It's just gonna keep limiting you down. And once you realize, oh, so I can do this, but I have to do it like this. Okay, well, let's do it like this, and it's cool.
Yeah, and actually, quite often when we find a different way of doing things, because maybe one door's been shut, then there's other doors that are opening all around. We've just got to be open to seeing them.
They do open.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stuff. And I just love the way that you sort of creating yourself your own story around it. So it can be this bad thing, because on one perception it is, but actually it doesn't have to be. And if it's taught you to know more about yourself, and it's taught you to look inwards for answers, which is definitely what it's teaching me as well, then that's not a bad thing, because we're all totally individual people, and everybody's, and if anybody out there has got MS, that everyone's symptoms will be different. We can all have the same disease and be 100,000 of us in the room and all have slightly different symptoms. So they call it the snowflake disease for that reason, because not one's the same. But it's us learning what's right for us. And I think, Nermin, you've hit the nail on the head with really taking time out for you and making yourself a priority, and then working out what it is. I mean, you mentioned earlier about avoid what gets on your nerves. And part of that is knowing what gets on your nerves. And when we say gets on your nerves, what irritates you? What don't you enjoy? So spend more time doing the things that you do enjoy, and less time doing the things that you don't. And it sounds very simple.
Yeah,
but
actually,
quite often we don't do that. We get caught up in other people's stories and other people's wants and desires and all that sort of thing. So just to end, as I always like to end with a bit of a meditation. So Nermin, you said your way of meditating is to go for a walk on your own, and to just allow any thoughts and feelings to come through. So I'm just going to facilitate So I'm just going to facilitate a little space now where we can focus on our breath. And I don't know why I'm echoey. Oh, so I'll stop being echoey now. So we can focus on our breath for a little bit and imagine that we're walking somewhere. So take a nice big deep breath, and if it's safe to do so, close your eyes and imagine that you're stepping outside and the air feels warm, the sun is shining. It's a nice, comfortable space to be.
Yeah.
You can hear the noise of nature, maybe some distant traffic, the birds singing, maybe
the birds, the crickets and everything else. Yeah,
you can hear the crickets. Yeah, that's good. And when you're imagining this nature that's all around, you can really get what I love about honing into your ears particularly is almost the quieter you get, the more noise that you can hear.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
really quiet. You think there's no noise going on. We think we're in silence, but then if you listen.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I mean, I always loved to watch insects as well. I did not mention that before, so I would, when I can, I would just watch what they're doing. Animals around the home as well, cats, dogs. Just watch them and enjoy. I do that. I see the birds on the grass. They're picking up something. Just watch them and enjoy that moment. It brings something up in us, at least in me. I'm not sure if it would do that for someone else, but for me, it's like bringing back a connection that we had with that nature life, with love back to me.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think connecting with nature is something really, and what we're describing is being more mindful, just bringing yourself back into the moment, because I think a lot of the times we can be in a place of what's gone on in the past, what's gone wrong, why is this happening, this is all bad, whatever other stuff comes up for us. And then we've got another way where we look into the future and start thinking, oh, this can go wrong, that could go wrong. And actually,
we're always like in that centrifuge of thoughts and events of everything that's happening. No, in my me time, I try to leave all of that behind on one side, and just me, nature, and nothing else. No world exists in that time. It's just me and whatever I'm focused on.
I love that. And thanks for the reminder, because it is something that I talk about, but I probably don't do it as well as you do. And the fact that you found a real peace in that, and noticing when you're outside in nature, and something that fascinates me about nature as well, it's like how different everything is. So you look at one tree, for example, and all the leaves on that tree are all the similar shape and they're all a similar color, but they're all actually different. And when you stop looking at it as a whole tree and look at it as an individual leaf, it's fascinating. And a bit like what you were saying about watching the insects and watching the birds and the animals.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And they're all going about their moment by moment. And of course, insects and birds probably don't have worries like we do, and don't stress about what's gone wrong and what could go wrong. And we can just be in this moment and really encapsulate it. So it is a real mindful practice. So when you're out with yourself and you notice do you have thoughts come into your head, or what happens when you have a sort of a worrisome thought come in? What do you do with that?
Damn, I would really need to be in a moment when it comes up to figure it out.
Yeah, I think what certainly helps for me is that just observing. Oh, look, I'm thinking this thing. What is it that? And again, I guess this is your inner reflection, just allowing your thoughts to move through, and actually I don't need to think about that anymore, or wonder where that's come from. So that inner inquiry about why we're thinking, and also how that attaches to our emotions as well. So recognizing that actually our emotions are a good thing, because we're all emotional beings.
Yeah, thank God for the emotions. I mean, if we did not have emotions, we would be nothing better than a slug, if I may say. Slug with a brain. So we can, but without emotions, it's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be robots.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your me time with us, really, because I think that's been my biggest learning from this conversation, is that actually spending time by yourselves in nature if possible, but if not, just take some time for you and make that a daily practice in order to allow yourself to be. And
I really hope that this conversation that we had is gonna help someone out there deal with the MS or with something else. I mean, this me time can be used to battle anything. I saw yesterday they found a cure for cancer, so that's some good news. I think patients were taking some new medicine, and all 18 of them lost the cancer. So the cancer is in remission.
Wow, that is impressive. Well, that is great news. So thanks for sharing that as well, ending on a high, very much so. So we'll close off now. So is there anything you'd like to end with, Nermin? If people want to get in touch with you, can they? Or is that not a thing that you do?
Anyone who wants to talk to me, they can add me on Facebook, Nermin Glibić, and don't lose hope.
No, and I think that's it. It's all about everybody's life is a challenge, because it's the challenges that make us. It's the challenges that, you know, give us the gifts to explore different ways. And I think when doors close around us, and that can feel frightening and frustrating and all of those things, but it means that the doors are opening. And if we just allow ourselves to look around us, then we might see more joy in life than we actually had before a frightening diagnosis.
Yeah, you also reminded me with that. Don't take MS as a burden. Take it as a gift, as Gina says. If you put it as a gift, it's going to be easier to deal with it. And if it's a burden to you, well, we all know what burden is. It's heavy, and just the word burden, it's already, oh man, you have to deal with that. So yeah, it's a gift. It's better to take it as a gift than as a burden.
Definitely, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly it. It's that perspective of how you view it, because you've got it. So let's treat it like it is something that's going to walk with us, or maybe even carry us at some point. Who knows what's in the future? So maybe we can ride that elephant at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Nermin, for joining us and sharing your me time with us. And I will tag you in Facebook, so if anybody wants to get in touch with Nermin, they can do. And thank you very much.